But we begin this half hour with the debate over classifying violence committed against police officers as hate crimes. Texas is poised to join Louisiana and Kentucky as the third state to pass a so-called Blue Lives Matter law. More than a dozen other states have similar legislation pending.
The laws call for harsher punishment for those convicted of killing or assaulting an officer. But critics question whether those laws are effective at preventing violence at all. Tony Dokoupil traveled to Texas to learn more. Tony, good morning.
Good morning. The latest numbers show violence against police officers is indeed on the rise, and that's one reason why many people back these proposals. But others say hate crime laws simply aren't meant to cover men and women in blue.
When a sniper opened fire in Dallas last July, Heidi Smith's husband, Michael, was one of 5 officers killed.
Just because he wore the uniform, he still came home to us every night.
Now Smith is afraid more police will be targeted.
I was in downtown Dallas going to an event with my children. I was scared the whole time at night to be in a patrol car.
What were you worried about?
Someone walking up and shooting us.
A hate crime?
Yes.
135 officers were killed on duty in 2016, the highest total in 5 years. Of those, 21 officers were ambushed, the highest total in more than 2 decades.
This is the building. This is El Centro, the college.
That's why Texas State Representative Jason Villalba introduced a bill to give the blue uniform itself protection.
Now we're seeing attacks on police officers based solely on one thing: their status as police officers. And I think that's what's important about this legislation.
There are people who would say it cheapens the category, that hate crimes are supposed to stop bigotry.
Well, I think you can call the attacks that we've seen against our police officers clearly within the category of bigotry. When you attack a police officer merely because they are doing their job, we must respond in the same way that we would protect those who are of a different color.
Jeffrey Robinson is a human rights attorney with the American Civil Liberties Union. He argues that crimes against police are already well prosecuted.
In fact, we have supported, as we should, our law enforcement officers. So to suggest that police officers should somehow be protected by a hate crime is to misunderstand what a hate crime is.
Even if every state in America protected police officers as a group with hate crime laws, you don't think there'd be any drop in killings against police?
There'd be no drop in killings of police whatsoever. What that response does is to ignore the reality. You want to talk about training, culture, and accountability and changing those things in policing? That's going to be hard. That's going to take effort. And people don't like to talk about that, but that's where we are.
Heidi Smith believes the legislation will give police the protection they need to do their job.
Would it be a validation of Mike's life to have this bill following his death?
Absolutely, yes. And the other 4 officers as well.
And Texas Governor Greg Abbott is expected to sign the new bill into law. But while many states move closer to doing the same, critics say the only way to make police truly safer is to improve relations with the community.
It really calls into question the definition of hate crime and bigotry in this.
It can be a hateful act and yet not a hate crime.
Yeah.
Tony Dokoupil, thanks very much.